Welcome to the world of Japanese mythology. Today, I will bring you a story that will touch your heart. 2. Ask an interesting question related to the title. Have you ever thought about how the gods in Japanese mythology solve people's problems? Mystical energy may have influenced your life as well. 3. Use questions that viewers can ask themselves. Do you feel that you're looking for some big change in your life? Or do you think that things are fine the way they are now? 4. Encourage empathy by saying that many people are worried about the same things. Many people are troubled by stress and anxiety in their daily lives. Work pressure, family problems, troubles in relationships, etc. may make you feel depressed before you know it. Have you ever had such an experience? 5. Explain using familiar examples that many people have the same problems. There are many people around us who have problems. For example, Mr. Sato, the owner of a small flower shop in the neighborhood. She sells flowers cheerfully every day and brings smiles to her customers. But in fact, at night, she sometimes sheds tears alone. This is because she is worried about the future, and is worried that she will not be able to make a living by selling flowers alone. I'm sure there are many people around you, not just Sato-san, who have worries deep in their hearts. It's as if those worries are connected by an invisible thread, and we can empathize with each other. 6. Tell them that watching this video can solve their worries. You may find the key to solving your worries through this video. Just as Sato-san found her vision to continue her flower shop, you can also find a way to resolve your worries. The spiritual knowledge and experience I will tell you from now on may help clear your mind. Why not take the first step here to clear the confusion in your heart and have hope for the future? 7. Amplify the worries of viewers. Are you currently having some worries? Whether it's about work, relationships, or mental health, sometimes your worries can feel like you're in a dark tunnel with no exit. You may feel like you are being crushed by these thoughts every day, and sometimes you may feel like you can't take even one step forward. We can all understand that feeling, because worries make us lonely and heavy-hearted. Your worries are never something you are alone with. Everyone is suffering in the same way. You can feel that pain because you are a human being and have a heart. 8. Show that the narrator has had similar worries in the past to gain sympathy. I myself used to be troubled by anxiety and confusion. It was like being alone in the ocean, not knowing where to go, being tossed about by the waves. Just like you, I sometimes worried about my daily life and relationships, and felt heavy in my heart. At times like that, I couldn't help but blame myself and compare myself to others. In this way, our worries can sometimes be lonely, and it is important to realize that there are people who can empathize with us. 9. Talk about how you solved your worries. The trigger for me to solve my worries was that, one day, I suddenly decided to visit a shrine. In the quiet grounds, listening to the rustling of the trees and smelling the wind, I felt my heart naturally become lighter. There, by telling the gods my thoughts, I was able to look at myself little by little. By coming into contact with myths and legends, I realized that the worries I had were actually something that many people experience. I was able to find a way to solve my problems. 10. Show that leaving your worries unattended may cause problems in the future. Leaving your worries unattended is like crossing an unstable bridge. It may be a small crack at first, but over time the crack will widen and may eventually collapse. I also had a period when I left my worries unattended, but before I knew it, I felt like I was carrying a heavy burden in my heart. Eventually, it led to physical discomfort. Your worries may also be able to be solved by facing them early. It is important to think about how much leaving them unattended will affect your future. 11. Emphasize the importance of solving problems. In our lives, we face various problems and worries. It is like getting lost in a deep forest. Are you lost in the forest? Solving the problem will free you from the maze, and lead you to a bright path where light shines. Leaving the problem alone is like leaving rotten fruit. Over time, it will have a negative impact on the situation, around you and on yourself. That's why solving the problem is important, and is the first step to your own happiness. 12. Present a spiritual solution. A spiritual solution is to receive messages from nature and mystical beings around you. For example, look up at the sky every day and focus your heart on the stars. The stars show us infinite possibilities. Also, by incorporating meditation and mindfulness, you can bring inner tranquility and get the opportunity to realize your own essence. How can you use spiritual power to solve your own problems? 13. Advise viewers to take action on their own. In order to take action, it is important to start with small steps. For example, start by asking yourself, what is my goal for today? When you wake up every morning, by writing down the answer to that question, you can make a concrete action plan. It is also effective to spend your daily life with gratitude. As a spiritual ritual, what small action can you start today? That one step may change your life greatly. 14. Talk about a time when you had a problem in the past and how you solved it. I myself used to be engulfed in a whirlpool of deep worries. In particular, there was a time when I suffered from anxiety about the future and low self-worth. No matter what I did, nothing went well, and I felt inferior to others. Then one day, I happened to come across a story from Japanese mythology. By borrowing their wisdom, I I was able to gradually regain myself, by learning how the gods overcame their trials. By incorporating the words of the gods into my daily life, I was able to look at myself again and draw out my inner strength. 15. Share similar success stories with other people, not only in my experience, but also in the experiences of my friends who had similar problems. There are many cases where spiritual approaches have changed their lives. For example, one friend began to understand her own subconscious, by writing down her dreams in a journal every night before going to bed. Then, she became clear about what she really wanted, and was able to quit her job and jump into the world of art that she loves. When you hear her story, doesn't it make you want to take a new step? 16. Present a shocking fact or conclusion. In fact, research has shown that continuing to ignore our inner voice can have serious effects on our mental and physical health. Stress and anxiety have been shown to be factors that cause poor health and chronic illness. Did you know that ignoring the voice of your heart could lead to poor health? Knowing such a shocking fact may make you feel that you need to take a look at yourself right now. 17. Present that solving your problems requires you to change yourself. You may feel that your problems are frozen like ice under the cold winter sky, but ice needs warm sunlight to melt and turn into water. Changing yourself is that warm sunlight. While change can be scary, it is also the first step to solving your problems. Do you believe you can change? 18. Show that changing yourself can have a positive impact on the people around you, and society as a whole. Imagine that the scenery around you changes when you change yourself. For example, just as the beauty of a single flower is influenced by the surrounding plants, your change will have a positive impact on other people. If you light a bright light in your heart, that light will spread to the surroundings and bring warmth to your family and friends. How do you think your change will affect others? 19. Show that viewers can change themselves and change the world. Have you ever thought that your small change could actually create a big wave? For example, one person's kind act may make the people around them kinder. If this chain reaction spreads, it is possible for the entire society to be filled with kindness. By changing yourself, you can make the world a better place. What kind of change do you want to make? 20. Give an easy to understand example and explain the reasoning behind it. Imagine this. Imagine that you have an old bookshelf in your mind. This bookshelf is filled with books filled with past memories and worries. You may pick up those books and reread them from time to time. However, when you have so many books, don't you find it hard to tell which ones are important lessons and which ones are just memories? In fact, organizing this bookshelf can be a trigger to clear your mind. By organizing, you may be able to gain the necessary knowledge and wisdom, and see a path to solving your worries. 21. Help viewers understand for themselves. How do you actually organize the bookshelf in your mind? First, try taking out the unnecessary books from the shelf. That is, the negative assumptions and worries of the past. By doing this, you should be able to clearly realize how much of a burden you've been carrying, and having the courage to let go of those books will create space for new books. That is, new possibilities and growth. This is the first step to lightening your heart and moving forward. 22. Give a specific example, and explain the realizations and output that result from it. For example, let's say you believe that I have no value. This belief may have been sitting on the bookshelf of your mind for a long time, like an old, dusty book. However, one day a friend tells you, "Your smile saved me." At this moment, you have the opportunity to reevaluate your own value. By taking the O